everyone! As my gift to you this year, I give you Quote! From the critically acclaimed hit title and arguably the most important stepping stone to the start of indie games as we know them, Cave Story. Why am I giving you Cave Story for the holidays? Well, obviously, Cave Story is a Christmas game! I mean, look guys, there's Santa! That's Santa. For some quick backstory, Quote is a recon robot that was sent to a mysterious floating island with one mission: to destroy a dangerous artifact called the Demon Crown. He managed to neutralize Miyakito, the one who wore the crown at the time, but Quote was badly damaged as a result, causing him to lie incapacitated for 10 years. When he finally awoke, he found himself with amnesia, but even still, that didn't stop him from taking it upon himself to try and save those around him from the Demon Crown's latest owner, Dr. Fuyuhiko Dade. Quote is a quiet, stoic robot, usually speaking more with his actions than he does his words. But boy, do those actions speak loudly. And today, he'll be showing everyone just how loud his actions can be when he's put up against the other contendants in the world of Super Smash Bros. So, getting right into things, Quote would be a fairly average mid-weight class character. He'd have 2 jumps, and he would be able to wall jump. Cave Story is a Metroidvania style of game with elements of games like Mega Man and Contra as well. So as such, just like his fellow boy-like robotic hero, Quote will be much more of a long-range fighter, using his wide variety of weapons and artillery. And starting with his jab, he'll be using the first weapon that he uses at the beginning of the game, which he just so happened to steal from a sleeping hermit. Rude. It's the Polar Star! Just like Mega Man, Quote will have a projectile jab attack, having him fire shots from the Polar Star straight forwards. He can shoot 3 at a time before needing to cool down, the shots deal small flinching damage, and foes hit point blank by the attack take a bit more damage and are launched further away. His dash attack can come from another crossover fighting game, Blade Strangers, which was published by the same company that published Cave Story. It can have Quote do a lunging elbow tackle. It's not very strong, but it's fast and it's good for getting foes out of your way, popping them into the air. The side tilt can be a shot from his Polar Star, allowing him to be able to walk around while shooting it. The rate of fire while walking is a bit slower though. The up tilt can also be the Polar Star, but of course, this time shooting it straight upwards. This has the same rate of fire as the side tilt. For the down tilt, this could be the first to use King's Blade, a sword given to him by King. King was the leader of a tribe of furry creatures called Mimiga, the natural inhabitant of the floating island. While trying to save one of his fellow Mimiga, King was unfortunately killed. So with his dying wish of vengeance, he passed his blade on to Quote to finish the job. So for the down tilt, this can be another move from Blade Strangers, the crouching heavy attack that has Quote stab the blade forwards at a diagonal angle. It is kind of a slow down tilt, but as a trade-off, it deals quite a bit of damage, and it actually only causes flinching, so it can be used to rack up a lot of pain pretty quickly if foes who get too close aren't careful. For Quote's side smash, he'll be using the completed version of the Polar Star, the Spur. The Spur is the only weapon that can be charged, and for doing so, fires different kinds of shots depending on how long you charged it for. So it will pretty much be doing the same kind of thing for this side smash. Just using the Spur with no charge will have it fire a large level 1 energy projectile straight forwards, not unlike Mega Man's uncharged Mega Buster side smash. If you charge it about halfway though, it'll shoot out a thin level 2 beam. It's thinner than the level 1 shot, but it has a bit more range, and it also no longer counts as a projectile. And if you charge the smash to at least near full, the Spur will shoot its strongest shot, the much thicker max level laser beam. It's slightly thicker than the level 1 shot, and it has even more range than the level 2 shot, and it still does not count as a projectile, making it the best overall. Of course, the trade-off is needing to charge the smash nearly all the way, which can be easily telegraphed, so you will need to use it tactfully. Regardless of the shot fired, foes hit by the side smash at all will be launched on contact. For the up smash, once again, Quote will go all anime swordsman and use King's Blade. though this time, he'll be using its strongest version. Quote will throw the blade above himself, causing it to spin in place over his head, almost just like how he actually uses the blade in Cave Story while it's level 1 or 2. But while that's happening, King's ghost will appear over the blade and swing his ghostly blade all over the place, slashing in all directions in the area above Quote. This is what happens when Quote uses the blade while it's level 3, with the Spirit of King appearing to cut down all in his way. This is a powerful up smash that'll deal multi-hitting damage to foes as King wildly slashes away, then launches them upwards at the end of the move. The down smash can have Quote use the under slash attack from Blade Strangers, though I will be innovating it into a proper down smash here. King's Spirit will also assist for this attack, mirroring Quote and swinging into the direction opposite behind him, allowing the attack to hit on both sides at the same time. Since King is a ghost, attacking him will not affect Quote, and this does apply to the up smash as well. For the neutral aerial, he'll simply fire his Polar Star straight forwards again, allowing him to be able to use it in the air. This has the same firing rate as his jab. The forward air can be another move from Blade Strangers. Specifically, he'll use the heavy air attack, which simply has him swing King's blade horizontally forwards. The back air can be the up slash move from Blade Strangers, having him turn and swing the blade behind himself from low to high to do a sword uppercut. The up air can have him shoot the Polar Star straight upwards again. It has the same firing rate as his side and up tilts, and the down air can be the same, only he shoots it straight downwards. Overall, giving Quote a wide variety of options when it comes to inflicting damage from afar. For the grabs and throws, I did pull all of these from Blade Strangers. He'll grab with one arm and pummel with a knee jab. The forward throw can have him fire a shot into the foe with the Polar Star, sending them forwards. Likewise for the back throw, only he trades places with the foe to shoot them backwards. The up throw can have him use the Rising Blade attack, kicking the foe upwards, then immediately following up with a low to high blade slash to send them even higher. And the down throw can be a combination of two attacks, starting with Quote getting low to the ground and shooting at the foe's feet to knock them down, then immediately follows with stabbing them with the blade to knock them away. For Quote's neutral special, he'll use the present given to him by Santa, the Fireball Gun! Dang, Quote must have been a really good boy that year. Referencing the 3 different levels of weapons in the game, this will be a chargeable special attack, requiring you to hold the button down, then letting go to fire it. So of course, the longer you hold it down, the stronger the result will be. Quote also cannot move while charging. Simply tapping the special button with no charge will have him shoot the weak level 1 fireball, which actually works almost like Mario's fireball. It's gravity affected, bounces on the ground forwards, deals small flinching damage, disappears automatically not long after it's fired, but will disappear sooner if it touches anything that isn't the stage. If you give it some amount of charge, then Quote will shoot the level 2 fireball, which behaves just like level 1, but now it has a fire trail for aesthetic purposes, lasts a little longer, and it deals more damage. And if you put in the full charge, which takes about 2 seconds, he'll shoot the level 3 fireball, which is now blue, so you know it's going to deal more damage. It lasts a little longer than level 2, and it also won't disappear if it touches a player. It'll keep going until it vanishes on its own. For Quote's side special, he'll use his powerful missile launcher. This is another multi-level chargeable special, so the exact same rules will apply for this as it does for the fireball. Tapping the command will have him fire the level 1 missile straight forwards that explodes on contact, or after reaching its peak range. The resulting explosion deals minimal damage and causes flinching at worst. Giving some charge will have him fire the slightly bigger level 2 missile that lasts for a little longer and results in a bigger explosion that deals more damage, but it's also slightly slower, which can still be scary. The explosion this one causes will actually launch foes, but it's still generally not strong enough to get KOs unless you can snipe foes who are already too close to the blast zone. And at the full level 3 charge, this actually has Quote fire 3 level 1 missiles at the same time. They all behave the same as level 1, so the only difference from this one is that there's more, making it slightly harder for foes to deal with. For Quote's up special, he'll use an invention given to him by the scientist named Professor Booster. But only if you chose to ignore him after he falls to his supposed demise. Wow, Quote, rude. Maybe you weren't such a good boy this year. Despite you choosing to ignore him, it does result in him surviving that fall somehow, and he gives Quote his creation, the Booster 2.0, a jetpack that allows Quote to fly into any chosen cardinal direction. This special will actually work similarly to Rob's up special. After activation, continuing to hold the button down will have quote fly upwards, and letting go of the button will have him fall. But using up special again can have him fly again whenever you please. There is a finite charge though, only enough for you to use the booster for a total of 5 seconds of combined usage. Once it depletes, then quote will fall, but he won't go into freefall. The booster will only refill once you make it back to the stage, but it's not an automatic refill. You will have to wait for 3 seconds after reaching the stage before you can use it again. Now, of course, holding up in special has him fly up, but if you want to go left, right, or down, you will need to keep holding the special button down, then point into the direction you want to go. Letting go of the button, then trying to press it while pointing into a new direction will just result in him using his other specials. So if you want to use it again after stopping, but want to go into a direction other than up, you will need to make sure that you use up special first, then point into the new direction while still holding the button down. And finally, for quotes down special, he could use the bubble line gun. It shoots bubbles. Lots and lots of bubbles. It has 3 levels like his other weapons, but instead of this special working based on a charge, it works based on how you press the special button when you initiate down special. But just like his other weapons, quote can't move while using it. Simply tapping the button will have him fire a single level 1 bubble projectile that flies straight forwards before eventually popping. It deals no damage and no hit stun, but it can push foes away. The level 2 version requires that you mash the button. This has quote fire a stream of bubbles forwards. Like the level 1, these bubbles are harmless, but they push foes away. However, the range on the stream isn't quite as good as the singular level 1 bubble. You can keep mashing to have him keep firing the bubble stream, though he will automatically stop after 3 seconds, so you will need to manually re-input the command in order to keep using it. And finally, for the level 3 version of the bubble line, you use this by holding the button down. This has quote shoot a bunch of bubbles that all float around him. The bubbles behave the same as before, but this time when they pop, they fire small, very weak, non-flinching projectiles. You can keep holding the button down to continually form bubbles, and as soon as you let the button go, they all pop at the same time. However, once you reach the max amount of bubbles, which can take about 4 or 5 seconds, the move will end by itself and all the bubbles will pop, requiring quote to manually re-input down special to keep using it, just like with the level 2 bubble line. Lastly, if you hold the control stick into any cardinal direction while the bubbles pop, then the projectiles will all fly into that direction. Overall, quote is going to end up being a bit of a campy character, but this setup will more often than not require quote to get close if he wants to get any KOs in. After all, he's a reconnaissance robot. He was literally designed to get information from his enemies from afar, figure out their strategies, then strike when the iron's hot. It's really not much different than how you play Cave Story. You have to get that download. Take your time, learn their playstyle, then go for those KOs. To quote John Quincy Adams, patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. Wait, typo! Who put that curly brace there? Oh, come on! Quote's partner and everyone's favorite peppy robot girl, Curly Brace. Curly was originally sent alongside Quote to destroy the Demon Crown, and considering that they both play identically in Cave Story, it's safe to assume that she could very well work as a suitable Echo Fighter. Curly as Quote's Echo Fighter will work just like Quote, but there is one major difference. She won't use the Polar Star. She'll use her signature machine gun. This makes it so that all of her basic shot attacks are a lot more spammable, but they will be weaker as a result. She also gets one unique little feature with her down air. In reference to how the level 3 machine gun actually allows Quote and Curly to effectively float when it's aimed down, Curly using her down air will slow her descent, giving her a tad more aerial mobility. For Quote and Curly's final smash, they'll both use one of the most powerful weapons in Cave Story, the Nemesis. This is your typical beam special, having the robot fire it straight forwards, and foes caught in it take massive damage that are launched away when it ends. By default, the Nemesis is fired horizontally forwards, but after the final smash is initiated, if you hold the control stick into any cardinal direction, it will actually have Quote or Curly aim it into that direction, allowing it to be turned around if you aimed it the wrong way, and even being able to shoot it vertically. And once it starts firing, you can slowly angle the blast as well. For the colors, Quote's default shows him in his usual red hat and pants and green scarf. The first alt can give him the yellow colors that reference Quote's attire whenever you play easy mode. And likewise, here are the light blue colors for Quote whenever you play in hard mode. Then we have dark navy colors and red eyes, referencing Quote's Halloween costume. Then we have a green alt with a blue scarf, gray hair, and his hat says Curly Brace on it, referencing Quote's original concept design. Here we have a purple alt with white hair and a scar on the hat, in reference to King. Then here's a silver colored alt with eyes on the hat, with those eyes belonging to the character that this alt references, the robot bound to the demon crown, Balrog. And finally, as a single alternate costume, it could show Quote wearing a Mimiga mask, the same that he used when he needed to disguise himself at the Mimiga plantation, and the same that could be worn during the ending for fun. For Curly's colors, her default shows her in her maroon outfit and blonde hair. Her first alt can give her the same easy mode color scheme that Quote has. Same goes for the hard mode colors. Here we have a blue outfit, green hair, and dark skin, referencing Sue Sakamoto, a girl that you meet during the story who was involved with the research team. It's specifically Sue's human appearance though, considering that she was a Mimiga for the majority of the game. Then we have a green and purple outfit with white hair, referencing the Colons, Mimiga orphans that Curly took in. Here's a pale green outfit and blue hair, referencing Misery, the witch who's responsible for why the Demon Crown exists at all, and as such, was also bound to it by its creator. Then here's a silver alt, which can reference the robot Malco as well as the Curly clones. Then finally, and quite fittingly, here's a red Christmas alt, directly coming from Curly's Christmas outfit. For Quote and Curly's stage intro, both can appear from a teleporter, the same used to get around to the different areas of the floating island. They'll step out of it, after which the teleporter disappears. For the taunts, Quote's first can show him spinning the polar star in his hand, then poses with it, his startup intro animation from Blade Strangers. His second can have him turning his head and looking confused with a question mark appearing above his head. This references whenever you try to examine something in Cave Story, but there's nothing to examine. And his final can have him pull out the Nemesis and use it, only for it to shoot a rubber duck and Quote looking bewildered. This references how when you get the Nemesis to its max level, it actually gets weaker, only being able to shoot ducks. For Curly's taunts, her first can ever give a straight thumbs up, which was her victory animation in Blade Strangers. Her second can be just like Quote's second, having her turn her head with a question mark appearing. But she'd look a lot more innocently curious compared to Quote's more stoic confusion. And her final can show one of Jenka's puppies appear and jump onto Curly's head. This makes her excited, but then the puppy jumps off and disappears. And finally, for their victory animations, Quote's first can show him just standing there, then he cocks his polar star and does a stoic pose, referencing his victory animation from Blade Strangers. His second can have him just sit down to relax and stare into the camera, referencing one of his concept art pieces. And his final can show Quote being serious and battle ready, but then a puppy appears and jumps onto his head, leading to Quote just looking confused. And for Curly's victory animations, her first can show her jumping in and posing with her back to the camera while holding her gun up, referencing her role in the Blade Strangers opening cinematic. Her second can show all of Jenka's puppies around her, so she picks one up and hugs it tightly. And her final can show Curly jumping around in excitement while the Colon Mimiga all hop around along with her, all celebrating her victory. And that does it for What If Quote was in Smash with Curly Brace as his Echo Fighter. Cave Story is so important to the history of video games. It started what would soon become a tidal wave of even more great indie titles that would change the lives of many and be loved by many, many more. And really? Anyways, if you enjoyed what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my private Discord as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos, or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming up next a week in advance. I really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you want to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, thank you so much for watching, and have a happy holidays!